Hey there, it's Mindy, and it is the fifth and final day of Dollar Tree Fall Week. If you have watched all five fall crafts, go ahead and leave me the number 5 in the comments. If you've missed any of the previous videos, I will link the playlist here and in the description box. Let's get right into this fall splatter screen wreath. For this wreath or door hanger, I'm using a Dollar Tree splatter screen, a few of these mini straw bales, some foam pumpkins that I had on hand, Dollar Tree's smaller canvases, these are the 4x6 size, and these rub-on transfers that I was so excited to find, as well as some florals I had on hand, and this piece that was from a fall project last year, and I'll link that in the description. So I started by, removing the splatter screen packaging and disassembling what was a bench. So I used the pieces to just create this little fence. And if you wanted to recreate this, what you could use from Dollar Tree are the wooden rulers to create that piece. Or you could easily use paint stir sticks. So I'm going to be attaching the straw bales like that, but I wanted to cover up the screen itself and give it a more neutral background. So I used a few pieces of this burlap ribbon. And I'm just gonna place it on like this, wrap it around the sides, and use my hot glue gun to attach it. To secure my straw bales in place, I use these pipe cleaners, and I just cut one in half to use for 2 of the bales, and then I fed it under the wire that's holding the whole thing together so that I could feed the wire through to the back of the splatter screen and twist it on to keep it in place. So I attached those first 2 straw bales side by side like this, and the third one on top in the center of these 2. And for my fence, I attached the pipe cleaners with a couple of small pieces of burlap ribbon, and in the same way I fed those under the straw bale wire and twisted it on to keep it in place. And I did add a little bit of hot glue for a little extra security here. Next, I added my foam pumpkins, and to secure these, I am using some wood skewers, which I cut down to fit so that it would sit at an angle on top of the straw bales. The look I was going for with this door hanger was sort of like an entrance to an actual pumpkin patch. So this is why I am using the straw bales and I'm adding the pumpkins, so it looks sort of like the display you would see when you get to a pumpkin patch. So you'll see when I add my sign and the rest of the elements that it really looks like an entrance to a pumpkin patch. So I'm adding my copper pumpkins on either side at an angle, and then I'll add the cream one to the top center, but off-centered so that I can add my two smaller pumpkins, and I just wanted to give it a little interest here. So to make my sign, the canvas was a little bit plain, so I decided to paint a little background with this mustard yellow, and I just used a wider brush to paint some wide lines across, and I didn't completely cover the entire thing, so just wanted it to look a little bit farmhouse and unfinished. And once my paint was completely dry, I did go ahead and cut out each letter for my sign that I wanted to use. And these rub-on transfers are really easy to use, so I wanted to slow this down and show you in real time how quick and easy it is to do. You just kind of press down the clear plastic, and then to actually transfer the letter, you're going to use your nail to scrape it, and you'll see it as it's transferring on. So there's two layers, the backing is white, and then you rub on the transfer and then peel off this clear top layer. And I think these rub-on transfers are a great alternative for someone who doesn't have a die cutting machine, or someone who just doesn't craft that often and doesn't want to keep all the extra supplies on hand. So if you see these at your local Dollar Tree, definitely pick them up and try them. I thought my sign looked a little plain, so I went ahead and added "Welcome to" and "Pick your own" just with a pen. And here are my pipe cleaners attached to the back again so that I can attach it to the splatter screen. Here are my two mini pumpkins, which I painted with this like maroon red, and I attached those the same way with the wooden skewers. And because these were smaller, I did add some hot glue to really secure them to the skewers. And I'm just loving all these colors together. So I used these florals just to cover up that extra space in the back, and these kind of remind me of wheat. I know they're not, but that's the look I was going for. So I just fed these into the back, into the straw, and that's how they are secured. And the final touch is covering up that handle for the splatter screen. So I just used some of this leftover burlap ribbon that I had and wrapped it around haphazardly really, and then just glued it onto the back. One thing I didn't show is I fed a little piece of jute string through the top. In between the handle and the splatter screen there's a little space, so I just created a little loop there so that I could hang this on my door. And here is the back covered in felt. I had so much fun with this fall splatter screen wreath. Go ahead and leave me a comment if you'd like to see more of these. I did make one for spring, so I'll link that video in the description as well. And you'll also find the playlist for this fall DIY series if you've missed any of the videos. If you enjoyed this video, go ahead and give it a like, leave a comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. As always, thanks for watching.